Hey everybody. I've been thinking so much about this idea of inclusion and support recently. There's an awesome article making the rounds on Twitter, etc., from the Chronicles of Higher Education about inclusive teaching practices. And I'm currently taking a course from Columbia on edX about inclusive teaching practices. And I just keep thinking about support, right? But I also think about the arguments and discussions I've had with other teachers about this idea of handholding and how support and structure are not our jobs. Our job is to teach the content, and then they better get it. But and I also know that there are some professions where it's A or F. They either truly get it or they don't, and holding their hand is a bad thing. But that's not how I look at it. I definitely look at this idea of support more like scaffolding. So I think about my son, right? When we didn't just get him a bike and say go and ride your bike, we actually started with one of those cool glide bikes. I didn't even know they existed. They didn't exist when I was a kid. And then once he was really proficient at that, we moved on onto a bike that has training wheels. And then once he was rocking that, we took the training wheels off and he flew and he was just ready to roll. So maybe you can make the argument they left the training wheels on a little too long, but it was a safe way for him to improve his skill set, and he's now riding and cruising right along. So except for when he has the power wheels out now. But so this idea, like what one person calls hand holding, I would call scaffolding and support. Now I think the key thing here is that you create an environment where students can start where they need to. So I don't require a lot of the scaffolding and support. If you're ready to roll, you can bypass these things and jump right into the content. But I start my courses with a How to Succeed in College series, and I have them take a short, college mastery quiz where I make sure they understand what they need to do to be successful in my courses. So I try to teach my students about how to learn and how to succeed in college, and specifically how to succeed in my courses, before I actually cover any of the content, any of the anatomy, any of the microbiology. So that's kind of how I feel about inclusion and support. And of course, now that I have so many students that come from such a diverse background now, so students that are English as a second language, for example, they wouldn't be able to succeed without the scaffolding, the things that I've laid out for them. So yes, some of my students would succeed without it, but others, I really don't think that I could get them where they need to be without that kind of support. So it's created a safer environment for a more diverse background. And that's how I feel about this idea of support. What somebody else would call hand holding is what I call support, and maybe even this analogy of training wheels. So I hope that helps. Have a wonderful day. Be blessed.